Earth, wedged in between the Pacific and Atlantic Oceans. A continent, Europe. A country, United Kingdom. A city, London. 5 a.m., warehouse. Cigarette smoke fills the air. Your lungs struggle to process oxygen through the clouds of CO2. Strobes, flashing, blinding you. Festival-grade speakers slam your ears with the gnarliest garage you swear you've ever heard. Sweaty bodies, crowd, absolutely disgusting, but you love it. Nearing the center of the crowd, a person, a familiar face, slamming a pint of Guinness. You, in shock of this raw talent, approach the CO2 parting ways as you cut through the rave. You arrive. Who is this mystery man? None other than Fred. Again. Fred John Philip Fredigan Gibson was born on July 19th, 1993 in London, United Kingdom. Fred's musical journey began right out of his toddler years. At age 6, Fred began learning piano, later remarking he instantly knew music was his life's calling. His parents, although not musicians at the time, were avid music lovers, flooding the halls of the house with sounds of jazz, Motown, and most importantly, power ballads. Fred's dad was keen to a good power ballad, and Fred looked to impress his father. By age 10, Fred had written and recorded his first album, an album of power ballads. Fred's family continued to foster and support his musical passions, no matter the genre. Finding himself in classical music, Fred began to obtain a new skill set and perspective. Infatuated by the concept of a symphony, Fred asked his music teacher, "What is a symphony?" To which his music teacher replied, "It's just a lot of sounds." With this newfound knowledge, Fred was off to the races, writing his first symphony. After having his school's 50-piece orchestra perform this piece, word spread quickly that Fred was an absolute musical savant. It was at this time that Fred impressed one person that would absolutely change his life. His neighbor, Mel. You see, Mel knew a guy. This guy was a guy that ran a local a cappella group. Except you see, it wasn't really just some guy running an a cappella group. It was British musician, composer, record producer, and multi-talented legend Brian Peter George St. John Le Baptiste de Yassaye Eno, better known as Brian Eno. To give a TLDR of a musician that cannot be given a TLDR, Eno is an accomplished musician known for his ambient and rock works, releasing 26 albums, 1 live album, 17 compilation albums, 8 video albums, 2 EPs, 13 singles, 26 collaborative albums, and 37 productions. Eno has contributed a tremendous amount to music history. David Bowie, U2, The Talking Heads, Coldplay, the Windows 95 startup sound, the Spore soundtrack. Brian Eno is a legend. Mel had shown Eno Fred's work, and Fred was invited to join Eno's a cappella group. During Fred's time with the a cappella group, Fred further proved himself, and Eno quickly took Fred under his wing. Becoming Brian Eno's protege was no easy feat, and Fred was pushed, writing thousands of songs using many different processes, sounds, and styles. In his teen years, Fred's entire life became music. When he wasn't working on music with or for Brian, he was working on music for himself with friends. Fred's brother took up managing him, and the power duo proceeded to take these tracks, shipping them to A&Rs that had kept in touch from his classical work. Eventually, these A&Rs caught on and sought to work with Fred. 2014, Fred receives 21 songwriting and production credits between Brian Eno and Carl Hyde's Someday, World, and High Life projects. 2015, Fred receives 8 credits on Roots Manuva's Bleed and 2 credits on Ellie Goulding's Delirium for Around You and We Can't Move to This. 2016, Charlie XCX featuring Lil Yachty, After the After Party, Fred. 2017, Abracadabra featuring Burna Boy and Jelani Blackman, Lemmy Adam, Fred. Jax Jones featuring Ina Worldson, Breathe, Fred. 2018, Shawn Mendes, Fallen All In You, Fred. Clean Bandit featuring Demi Lovato, Solo, Fred. George Ezra, Shotgun, Fred. Rita Ora, Let You Love Me, Fred. 2019, BTS, Make It Right, Fred. Stormzy, Big Michael, Pop Boy, and Own It, Fred. And Ed Sheeran's number 6 collaborations project, where 12 of 15 songs on the album are produced by none other than Fred. From the mid-2010s to the late 2010s, Fred amassed an elite reputation in the music industry. And in Fred's words, "I was making music in the framework of other people's artistry." Fred wanted something more than to be the songwriting guy. Fred knew he had to take a leap. Meanwhile, in 2019, Brian Eno is on shuffle mode, going through his iTunes library. Suddenly, an old song of Fred's appears in the queue. Upon listening to the song, Eno is reminded of the GOAT potential Fred holds, and texts Fred to put energy into himself and focus on his own music. Fred remarked, "It was a total synergy of timing." By the end of 2019, Fred released his first ever single, Kyle, I Found You, under his new alias, Fred Again. I Found You featured a deep, warm gliding sub bass, euphoric synths, subtle yet bouncy drums, and a passionate spoken word poem from Kyle Myrie, a perfect recipe to cry in the club. Word of Fred Again spread through the underground electronic scene, and as the groundwork for a tour began to set, the world shut down. Although unable to perform live, Fred released the Actual Life EP in May of 2020, a teaser of what more was to come. Continuing to develop the project, Fred established that Fred Again would be a musical diary, sonically cataloging his life, using found footage from memories he videotaped, pieces of content he found, and saved online interactions he'd have with friends. It was clear Fred's heart was on his sleeve. Combining the openness of his life with absolutely mental, ravey, dance-driven beats, Fred proved to have developed an ultimate combination. Finally, February 2021, Fred Again and the Blessed Madonna released Maria, We've Lost Dancing, featuring a beautifully written spoken word poem by the Blessed Madonna, fluttery synths, and an extremely unique house beat. We've Lost Dancing becomes the second most sold record of all time on Beatport and considerably becomes the song of the pandemic. The Fred Again takeover is on. April 2021, Fred Again releases the Actual Life album. That same month, Fred releases a live performance of the album, performed through complex MIDI triggers, keyboards, beat pads, vocals, effects, and more. The people want more. Baxter, These Are My Friends, Billy, Loving Arms, Hannah, The Sun, and Faisal, Envelops Me are released, leading into the final months of 2021, where in November of 2021, Actual Life 2 is released. 2022, amassing a cult following, Fred gets booked globally, literally everywhere. United Kingdom, Belgium, Germany, Spain. What is going on? April 2022, Coachella. Fred Again takes the Mojave stage with the most electric performance of the weekend, broadcasting globally to YouTube and performing live to a sea of people. Fred's talent and personality continues to win the heart of the masses. Summer of 2022, The USB singles are released, featuring insane collaborations with Romy and High, I Jordan, Swedish House Mafia, Future, and Rico Nasty. The international iconic Boiler Room hosts Fred Again, where Fred turns the building upside down. A set with no misses, glorious moments, and pure debauchery, which brings us to the present, October 2022. Actual Life 3 slates its release for the 28th. Global bookings are announced: New Zealand, Australia, Colombia, and Lollapalooza in Argentina, Chile, and Brazil. To say the least, Fred's story is just getting started. Fred Again is not a DJ. Fred Again is not a producer. Fred Again is a once-in-a-lifetime artist. Fred's inimitable style and humble and wholesome personality is rapidly spreading through the masses. With contributions in pop, an unbelievable family and team supporting him, and sounds in electronic music never heard before, Fred is leading a new era. From house to garage to experimental beats, Fred proves it is possible to create a symphony out of anything. So, who is Fred Again?
You know who it is when I come through. I want you to see me, Fred. I'm here.
These guys are giving me life.
The sun comes shining through